As dawn breaks across the African savannah, another day of survival quietly begins. For these zebras, the cool morning offers a brief moment of safety and peace. In the wild, vigilance is essential. Danger often arrives without warning. Somewhere nearby, another life depends on a very different outcome. The lioness waits patiently. Every movement is calculated. Every second matters. A successful hunt demands patience. The lioness may wait for hours before making her move. The herd gradually approaches water, one of the savannah's most precious and dangerous resources. Among the herd are youngsters, still learning the unwritten rules of survival. From her hidden position, the lioness carefully studies every member of the herd.
Predators often search for weakness, inexperience, or a momentary separation from the group.
The zebras are not defenseless. Their survival depends upon awareness and collective vigilance. Every sound and every movement is carefully interpreted for signs of danger. The hunter reduces her profile, becoming almost indistinguishable from the surrounding grass. To drink is necessary. Yet waterholes often become stages where life and death quietly intersect. The approach begins. Each step is measured, silent, and astonishingly precise. Even a few steps closer can greatly increase the predator's chances of success. Within the herd, some individuals remain alert, while others focus on drinking.
Curiosity can sometimes lead young animals into unexpectedly dangerous situations.
The lioness notices the youngster drifting away from the safety of the herd. Although still separated by open ground, the distance between hunter and prey is steadily shrinking. Every movement is deliberate. Energy wasted now could mean failure later. An unusual sound causes a ripple of alertness throughout the herd. At the slightest sign of suspicion, the hunter transforms into a statue of patience. The brief alarm passes, and the herd returns to its morning routine. For the lioness, patience remains her greatest weapon. The changing light creates new patterns of shadow across the open plains. Without realizing it, the youngster gradually increases its vulnerability. The predator seeks every advantage offered by the landscape. Sudden movements are common among zebras and often serve to test possible threats. The moment of decision draws closer. The ambush is almost ready. Stillness is often the final stage before action. The lioness waits for exactly the right opportunity. The young zebra remains unaware that distance from the herd can quickly become dangerous. Although the adults remain nearby, their attention is divided between feeding and vigilance. With remarkable control, the predator shortens the distance one careful step at a time. Even the wind plays a role in survival, carrying scents and masking faint sounds. A favorable breeze helps conceal the hunter's scent from the sensitive noses of the zebras. The youngster continues its slow journey away from the center of the herd. The opportunity she has been waiting for may finally be taking shape.
In the wild, even small disturbances can alter the behavior of predators and prey.
The sudden movement immediately attracts the attention of the herd. The hunter knows that patience can be the difference between success and failure. The alarm passes once more, and the rhythm of the savannah resumes. Predators constantly assess movement, spacing, and the behavior of their potential prey. The youngster's unpredictable movements create new possibilities for the waiting hunter. The distance between predator and prey is now remarkably small. The lioness has entered the final stage of her approach. Every movement now carries enormous significance.
Unaware of the danger nearby, the young zebra continues its peaceful search for fresh grass.
Within every herd, some individuals act as sentinels, scanning constantly for possible threats. The hunter compresses her body, preparing herself for the explosive energy of a chase. The African savanna is constantly changing, and predators often take advantage of these subtle moments. One small decision can unexpectedly shift the balance between safety and vulnerability. The opportunity she has waited for is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. The herd is changing formation, creating brief gaps and openings. The youngster now occupies a more isolated position on the edge of the herd.
For an ambush predator, timing is everything. A single mistake could waste hours of effort.
To most of the savannah, this appears to be an ordinary and peaceful morning. Beneath this calm exterior, immense power and concentration are waiting to be unleashed. The youngster remains close enough to see the herd, yet far enough to face greater risk. Her body is now positioned for speed, balance, and a rapid burst of energy. The stage is set. Within moments, the stillness of the savannah may be dramatically transformed. For one final moment, predator and prey share the same silence. The youngster unknowingly enters an increasingly exposed position. Every sense is focused. Every calculation is complete. The herd remains watchful, but no clear danger has yet been detected. The hunter is now balanced and ready for sudden movement. For the young zebra, the morning still appears peaceful and secure. The moment she has patiently awaited has finally arrived. Distance has created an opening, and opportunities like this rarely last. The explosive energy of a sprint is gathering within the predator's powerful body. One final glance offers reassurance, but danger remains hidden. Without warning, the hunter commits to the ambush. The slightest disturbance instantly changes the mood of the herd. Speed now replaces patience as the lioness launches her attack. The herd reacts instantly. In the wild, hesitation can be costly. In a matter of seconds, the peaceful morning transforms into a desperate race for survival. The herd's first defense is immediate flight, using speed and unity to create confusion. Built for explosive acceleration, the lioness closes the distance with remarkable speed. Every change in direction forces the predator to constantly adjust her pursuit. The youngster relies heavily on the protection and movement of the surrounding herd. Even at high speed, the lioness remains focused on her selected target. The dust itself becomes an ally, reducing visibility for predator and prey alike. In this confusion, every second demands instant decisions and rapid adjustments.
The zebras move almost as a single organism, making it difficult to isolate one individual.
A single misstep can dramatically alter the outcome of a chase.
The predator instantly recognizes even the smallest sign of weakness.
The adults remain nearby, their movements creating additional obstacles for the hunter.
These explosive chases demand enormous energy and cannot continue indefinitely.
The changing terrain introduces new challenges for every animal involved.
Reunited with its mother, the youngster gains both guidance and protection.
The chase continues, but the zebra's unity is making the hunt increasingly difficult.
The lioness presses forward, but every stride now demands immense energy.
By staying together, the zebras make it increasingly difficult for the predator to single out one target. Unlike endurance runners, lions are built for short bursts of extraordinary speed. The youngster remains close to its mother, instinctively following her every movement.
Even minor obstacles can reduce momentum during these critical moments. The adults naturally position themselves around the youngster as the chase continues.
The precious advantage of surprise is beginning to fade. On open ground, the zebras can fully use their stamina and speed. Despite her strength, the lioness must carefully balance effort and reward. The youngster has regained the greatest protection available on the savannah, the herd itself.
The chase has entered its decisive phase. Energy reserves are rapidly diminishing.
The herd senses that the immediate danger may already be passing. For predators, abandoning a hunt is often a necessary and practical decision. The zebras continue moving, unwilling to relax until safety has clearly been restored. This morning, the ambush has failed. On the African savannah, survival belongs to both persistence and chance. The chase is over. For the lioness, recovery now becomes the immediate priority.
Predators often spend more energy during a chase than observers might imagine.
In the growing heat of the morning, conserving energy becomes essential. The zebras also begin to recover, though their vigilance remains unbroken. The youngster has survived a critical lesson in the realities of the wild. Even after danger passes, the herd continues to scan for any sign of renewed pursuit. A failed hunt is not unusual. Lions frequently abandon pursuits that become too costly.
Experience teaches predators when to persist and when to conserve strength.
For the zebras, movement and unity remain the foundations of survival.
The youngster remains close to its mother, instinctively seeking reassurance and protection. The African savannah is a landscape of extraordinary beauty and relentless challenges.
Her opportunity has passed, but another chance will eventually come. The herd cautiously returns to feeding, though alertness never completely disappears. Life on the savannah quickly resumes its familiar rhythm. Today, the zebras have escaped, and the lioness waits for another opportunity. As morning gradually gives way to midday, the African savannah begins to transform. For predators, the hottest hours are often spent conserving precious energy. The zebras take advantage of the calmer conditions to replenish their strength. The youngster's frightening experience has already become another lesson in survival. Even while resting, predators remain aware of their surroundings. The savannah is home to countless species, each connected by the same environment. The midday sun imposes its own challenges upon every creature living here. Periods of rest allow predators to recover from the immense demands of hunting. Alertness remains constant, even during moments of apparent peace. Young animals often rest during the hottest hours while remaining close to protective adults. Across the savannah, even subtle changes in light can alter animal behavior. The predator continues to observe her surroundings, always aware of future possibilities. The herd balances the need for food with the need for safety. Every surviving day increases the youngster's understanding of the world around it. Though separated by distance, predator and prey remain part of the same timeless cycle of life. As the afternoon progresses, the rhythm of the savannah begins to change once again. Having recovered much of her energy, the lioness slowly becomes active once more. For predators, every hour presents new possibilities and new decisions. The herd remains relaxed, yet vigilance never completely disappears. The youngster's confidence gradually returns after the earlier encounter. The afternoon atmosphere is slowly shifting, and the landscape responds to these subtle changes. Predators rarely remain idle for long. Observation is an essential part of survival. The savannah is filled with movement, and every creature influences the environment around it. Changing winds often encourage animals to reassess their surroundings. From this elevated position, the lioness gains a wider view of her world. Every experience sharpens awareness and gradually develops the instincts of survival. Across the plains, other potential opportunities quietly emerge. Her attention immediately shifts toward the distant herd. For the zebras, the remainder of the day seems calm and uneventful. The story of survival never truly pauses. Across this vast landscape,
New possibilities are always unfolding.
As the day slowly advances toward evening, the African savanna enters another transition. The cooler hours ahead often bring renewed activity among predators.
Each step is measured. Energy remains a valuable resource that cannot be wasted.
The zebras continue feeding, taking advantage of the cooler temperatures of late afternoon.
The youngster's world remains full of discoveries and constant lessons.
Observation is often the beginning of every successful hunt. The changing light transforms the savanna into one of Earth's most spectacular landscapes. As evening approaches, the herd naturally tightens its formation. Far across the plains, another opportunity quietly enters the lioness's awareness. Predators are always listening, always watching, and always calculating. The day is slowly ending, but the need for vigilance never disappears. Countless lives move to the rhythms of light, temperature, and time. With daylight fading, the lioness continues her quiet search across the savanna. For now, the herd enjoys another brief period of calm. As evening settles across the African savanna, the timeless story of predator and prey continues beneath the fading light. At sunset, the African savanna undergoes one of its most dramatic transformations. The fading light signals the beginning of a more active period for many predators. As darkness approaches, the herd instinctively becomes more tightly grouped.
For the youngster, staying close to experienced adults remains the safest choice.
Concealment becomes increasingly effective as daylight gradually fades.
Day gives way to night, and an entirely different chapter of life begins.
Many creatures seek shelter before darkness fully settles across the plains.
With visibility reduced, hearing becomes an increasingly valuable source of information.
The herd remains alert, relying on many eyes and ears to detect possible threats. The youngster is learning that night brings new challenges and new uncertainties.
The cooling temperatures allow predators to move with greater comfort and efficiency.
Moonlight now becomes one of the few remaining sources of illumination. Despite the darkness, life on the savanna does not come to a complete stop. Somewhere beyond the darkness, another opportunity may already be emerging. Night has arrived on the African savanna, and the endless story of survival continues beneath the stars. Under the cover of darkness, the savanna becomes a world governed by sound, scent, and instinct. The lioness continues her patrol, conserving energy while remaining ready for opportunity. Many members of the herd remain alert, their senses tuned to the sounds of the night.
Even the youngest animals quickly learn that darkness demands caution. Night often rewards patience and careful observation. The night shift belongs to many different hunters, each adapted to a world of limited light. Every unfamiliar sound could represent danger, competition, or opportunity.
Throughout the night, the herd continuously adjusts its formation.
Sleep comes only in short and cautious moments.
Elevated ground offers a better perspective of the surrounding landscape.
Moonlight gently reveals the shapes and movements of the nighttime world.
From this position, the lioness can monitor vast areas of open grassland. The zebras remain safe for now, protected by distance and collective awareness.
Hunger and instinct continue to drive the predator's attention. Across the vast African night, predator and prey remain connected by the same ancient cycle of survival. Deep into the night, the savannah becomes quieter, yet life continues in countless unseen ways.
From her elevated position, the lioness patiently observes the changing landscape. Far away, another group of herbivores travels carefully through the darkness.
The faint sounds of movement immediately capture the predator's attention.
The zebras remain together, maintaining the defensive advantages of the herd. Curiosity and instinct encourage the lioness to investigate the distant activity.
Even in darkness, herbivores remain highly sensitive to unusual sounds and movements.
Her movements are slow and deliberate, minimizing both sound and effort. At night, precision becomes even more important than speed. The distant herd continues moving, unaware that it may have attracted attention.
For the zebras, the night remains calm, though caution never fades entirely. Predators gather information continuously, often relying on sounds too faint for human ears. The changing sky briefly alters visibility across the open plains. Another possibility may be developing, and patience once again becomes essential. Across the African night, countless stories of survival continue to unfold beneath the stars. Guided by sound and instinct, the lioness begins investigating the distant movement. The antelope remain alert, constantly checking their surroundings in the darkness. In low light, hearing becomes one of the predator's most valuable senses. Perceived safety allows the herd to briefly return to its normal activities. Every step is deliberate, minimizing both sound and unnecessary effort.
Changing moonlight continually alters the conditions of the hunt.
The predator immediately responds to the brighter conditions by becoming perfectly still. Even the slightest change in the environment can trigger caution among prey animals. Darkness returns, restoring the lioness's natural advantage. Patience and timing once again guide every decision. The distant herd changes position, subtly reshaping the circumstances of the encounter. The predator reassesses the situation before continuing her approach. The zebras remain safely distant, still participating in the silent vigilance of the night. Her concentration is absolute, focused entirely on possibility and opportunity. Across this vast nocturnal landscape, Another chapter of survival is slowly taking shape. The lioness waits once more, allowing the landscape and darkness to work in her favor.
The distant herd appears calm, but every individual remains sensitive to change.
Scent can reveal valuable information long before prey becomes visible.
Without warning, a wave of alertness passes through the herd. The predator immediately responds by becoming perfectly still.
For several moments, the entire herd focuses on listening. Patience allows predators to avoid revealing themselves too early.
The moment of uncertainty passes, and the herd resumes its slow progress. The hunt quietly resumes, guided by caution and precision. The night briefly becomes brighter, reducing the African lioness's cover. Knowing when not to move is often as important as knowing when to act.
Within every herd, positions constantly shift, and opportunities occasionally emerge. The predator immediately recognizes even a temporary separation. The distance is small, but in the wild, even brief isolation can increase vulnerability. Once again, predator and prey are linked by patience, uncertainty, and the possibility of sudden change. The lioness now focuses entirely on the young Thompson's gazelle that has drifted from the center of the herd. For a brief moment, the youngster appears relaxed and unconcerned. Each movement is deliberate, reducing the chance of detection.
Although separated, the young black-buck antelope remains within sight of the herd. The distance gradually narrows beneath the soft glow of the moon.
The youngster remains alert, but no obvious danger has yet revealed itself. The sudden darkness offers the predator, a cunning hyena, a valuable advantage. Predators often exploit changing conditions with remarkable precision. The separation is shrinking, yet the opportunity has not completely disappeared. Successful hunters constantly reassess their decisions and adapt to new circumstances.
Once again, a wave of caution moves through the herd.
The predator's response is immediate, preserving her concealment.
The temporary isolation may already be coming to an end.
Patience remains essential, even when opportunities begin to fade. Across the African night, fortunes shift constantly, and survival often depends on the smallest decisions.
The brief window of vulnerability is beginning to close.
Predators often face difficult choices between persistence and patience.
The youngster once again benefits from the security of the herd.
The returning moonlight further reduces the lioness's cover. The odds are changing, and experienced hunters know when circumstances become unfavorable. By remaining together and continuing to move, the herd improves its chances of safety. She continues gathering information while conserving valuable energy.
The youngster remains protected within the shifting structure of the herd. The predator appears to reach a quiet decision. The opportunity now slips steadily into the distance. Not every hunt ends in pursuit. Sometimes restraint is the wiser choice. Experience teaches predators to balance effort with opportunity. The plains become still again, and another possibility fades into memory. The hunt has been abandoned, but the night is far from over. On the African savanna, survival depends not only on action, but also on knowing when to wait for another chance. The deepest hours of the night often become a time of quiet movement and careful observation. The cooling ground provides relief from the heat that dominated the earlier hours of the day. Many herbivores remain active in brief intervals throughout the night. Even while resting, the young zebra remains highly attentive to unfamiliar sounds. Periods of stillness allow predators to reassess their surroundings. Above the plains, the night sky continues its own timeless performance. Conserving energy remains a constant priority, even during active hours. The herd's collective awareness continues to provide security throughout the night. The night itself becomes a classroom, where instincts are gradually refined. Every unfamiliar sound invites attention, even if it leads to nothing. The night is slowly advancing toward its final hours. Driven by instinct, the lioness continues her solitary journey across the plains. Short moments of alertness repeatedly interrupt the herd's periods of rest. The youngster remains close to the reassuring presence of its mother. Across the vast African night, countless lives continue their quiet struggle between rest, caution, and survival. The longest part of the night is beginning to pass, and subtle changes announce the approach of dawn. After hours of movement and observation, the lioness continues her quiet patrol. The cooling atmosphere leaves delicate traces of moisture upon the sleeping landscape. The herd remains close and organized during the final hours of darkness. For the youngster, another night has nearly passed in safety. Far away, the first hints of morning are beginning to emerge. Night does not end suddenly. It slowly gives way to a new cycle of light. Having spent the night in motion, the lioness pauses to observe the changing world around her. The first birds are already beginning to announce the arrival of morning. The changing light influences the behavior of every creature on the savanna. The youngster prepares for another day, filled with both opportunities and challenges. The balance between night and day is steadily shifting. Another night has ended without success, yet the story of survival continues. The herd gradually becomes active, responding to the arrival of a new day. Across the African savanna,
darkness retreats and another day begins, renewing the ancient relationship between predator and prey. Before sunrise, the savannah experiences one of its most peaceful and beautiful transitions. The lioness welcomes the return of daylight after a long and uneventful night. Tiny droplets of moisture reflect the first light of the new day. The herd resumes its daily movements as the world slowly awakens around it. The youngster greets the morning with renewed energy and curiosity. The predator continues her journey, adapting once again to changing conditions. Sunrise spreads gradually across the landscape, revealing the details hidden by darkness. The cooler morning hours provide ideal conditions for feeding.
Every morning introduces new sights and sounds to the young animal's growing experience.
Although unsuccessful during the night, the lioness remains attentive to future possibilities.
A new day begins with warmth, light, and renewed opportunities for survival.
For now, rest and observation once again become her priorities.
The herd balances feeding efficiency with the continued need for awareness.
The lessons of yesterday's danger remain hidden within the youngster's developing instincts. Another morning unfolds across the African plains, where every sunrise renews the timeless cycle of predator and prey. With sunrise complete, the African savannah quickly becomes a landscape of activity and movement. Although resting, the lioness remains constantly aware of the world around her.
The herd resumes its daily routine, balancing nourishment with vigilance.
Moments of play and exploration are also important parts of early development. The rising temperature quickly transforms the appearance of the landscape. After resting, the lioness prepares herself for another active period of observation.
The herd remains sensitive to even minor changes within the environment.
Despite its growing confidence, the youngster continues to depend upon the safety of the herd. Predators often spend considerable time moving quietly and assessing their surroundings.
The awakening savannah is filled with movement in every direction.
As the morning progresses, food availability encourages the herd to disperse modestly.
The lioness continues gathering information about the opportunities around her.
Each passing day adds experience to the young zebra's understanding of the wild. For predators and prey alike, every new day begins with choices shaped by instinct and experience. Across the African savannah, life continues in an endless rhythm of caution, opportunity, and survival.
Late morning brings brighter light, warmer temperatures, and renewed activity across the plains.
Predators often spend considerable time moving quietly and assessing their surroundings.
The herd continues feeding, relying on collective awareness to maintain safety.
Every feeding opportunity contributes to growth and future resilience.
Even the smallest forms of life play important roles within this complex ecosystem. Patience remains one of the lioness's greatest strengths. A minor disturbance
immediately captures the attention of the herd. The source of the disturbance is harmless and quickly identified. Moments of caution are frequent, but unnecessary alarm consumes valuable energy. The youngster's confidence continues to grow with each passing day.
Although there is no immediate opportunity, observation never truly ends. Changing light constantly reshapes the appearance of the savannah. The search for food continues to guide the movements of the herd. For predators and prey alike, the day unfolds through countless small decisions. The African savannah remains a place where beauty, caution, and survival exist side by side. As the sun climbs higher, the savannah begins to slow beneath the increasing heat. Finding shelter from the heat becomes an important priority during the warmest hours. The herd continues grazing, carefully balancing nutrition with awareness.
Every meal contributes to the youngster's development and future survival. Even during the hottest part of the day, countless smaller lives remain active.
Shade offers relief and an opportunity to conserve precious energy. The open plains continue to provide abundant feeding opportunities. Curiosity and caution remain closely linked during the early stages of life.
Even while resting, predators continue gathering information about their surroundings.
Changing light continually reshapes the appearance of the savannah. Short moments of vigilance are repeated countless times throughout the day. Safety often comes from remaining close to experienced adults.
The increasing heat encourages predators to reduce unnecessary movement. For now, the balance between predator and prey remains calm and unchanged. As midday approaches, life on the African savannah settles into a slower and more deliberate rhythm. Midday has arrived, bringing the highest temperatures and one of the quietest periods on the savannah.
During these hot hours, conserving energy becomes more important than movement.
The herd gradually shifts its position in search of fresh grazing and relief from the heat. The youngster mirrors the movements of experienced adults and remains close to familiar protection.
The midday sun transforms the savannah into a landscape of heat and brilliant light.
Even in rest, awareness remains an essential part of survival.
Like many animals, zebras often reduce activity during the hottest part of the day.
Periods of rest help young animals conserve energy and recover from earlier activity.
For a brief period, the savannah appears calm and almost still.
The lioness wisely avoids unnecessary effort while temperatures remain high.
The herd conserves strength while maintaining its collective awareness.
Even during periods of rest, curiosity continues to shape the youngster's experience.
Subtle changes in the sky hint at conditions that may evolve later in the day. For now, patience and energy conservation remain the lioness's greatest priorities.
Midday brings a rare pause to the relentless rhythm of the African savanna. As the hottest part of the day continues, movement across the savanna becomes increasingly limited. Even while resting, predators rarely become completely unaware of their surroundings. Simple behaviors help animals cope with both heat and persistent insects. Periods of rest remain especially important for young and growing animals. The intense sun quickly removes the last traces of morning moisture. Awareness never completely fades, even during the quietest hours. Eventually, the need for water encourages the herd to become active once again. The youngster instinctively follows the movements of the herd. Even distant changes in animal behavior immediately attract the predator's attention. Water remains one of the savanna's most essential and frequently contested resources. The movement of prey encourages renewed interest and attention. Although the danger seems distant, the youngster remains closely connected to the herd. The changing light adds movement and contrast to the otherwise quiet landscape. The predator observes carefully, gathering information before making any decision. Even during the heat of midday, the movements of predator and prey continue shaping the story of the African plains. Driven by thirst and routine, the herd gradually approaches one of the savanna's most valuable resources. For the youngster, each journey across the plains becomes another lesson in survival. The predator's attention remains fixed upon the changing patterns of the landscape. Water attracts life from every direction and often becomes a meeting place for many species. Even in familiar places, caution remains essential. The herd performs one final assessment of its surroundings. Young animals frequently learn through observation and imitation. The gathering of prey encourages the lioness to seek a better vantage point. For a brief moment, the waterhole appears peaceful and undisturbed. The cool water provides both relief and renewal. From higher ground, the predator gains a broader understanding of the unfolding scene. At every waterhole, vigilance and vulnerability exist side by side. Distance and daylight greatly reduce the possibility of a successful approach. The cool water provides both relief and renewal. Across the African savanna, distance itself often becomes the greatest protector of prey. By midday, the waterhole has become a center of activity in an otherwise quiet landscape. Frequent access to water is especially important for young and growing animals.
Many species depend upon these scattered water sources throughout the dry season.
From afar, the lioness carefully studies the gathering below. The immediate urgency of thirst gradually gives way to feeding and rest. Curiosity remains a powerful force in the development of young animals. Other animals are also drawn toward this valuable source of water.
new arrivals immediately attract the attention of nearby animals. Every change in animal behavior provides the predator with new information. At waterholes, different species often share the same resource in relative peace. Observation itself becomes an important part of learning. Even temporary changes in light subtly alter the atmosphere of the plains. Recognizing the distance and conditions, the lioness chooses observation over pursuit.
For a brief period, the waterhole becomes a place of coexistence rather than conflict.
In the African wilderness, water links the lives of predator and prey in a delicate and ever-changing balance. As early afternoon begins, subtle changes in temperature and wind bring new energy to the landscape. Some members of the herd remain close to the water, enjoying brief relief from the heat.
The youngster continues to learn through observation and close contact with its mother.
The lioness remains patient, understanding that the conditions offer little advantage. Even the smallest visitors rely on these scattered water sources. Awareness remains constant, even during moments of apparent calm.
Simple experiences gradually shape the youngster's understanding of its environment.
Far away, subtle changes in the sky hint at conditions that may influence the evening ahead. The predator conserves energy while maintaining a clear view of the landscape.
For now, the waterhole remains a place of unusual harmony.
Curiosity and awareness develop side by side during the early stages of life. The waterhole supports an astonishing variety of life, both large and small. Patience is not inactivity. It is a strategy shaped by experience. The afternoon settles into a calm rhythm, and the savannah briefly seems at ease. Across the African plains, every creature remains connected by the shared need for water, safety, and survival. As the afternoon progresses, the intensity of the heat gradually begins to ease. With thirst satisfied, the herd slowly returns its attention to feeding.
The youngster explores its surroundings with growing confidence and curiosity.
Changes in light and temperature gradually encourage greater activity across the landscape.
The waterhole remains alive with countless smaller forms of activity.
The gathering slowly begins to disperse as different species return to their routines. Every movement on the savannah becomes part of the youngster's growing experience. After many hours of rest, the predator becomes increasingly attentive once again. The changing sky adds movement and contrast to the afternoon landscape. Within the herd, some individuals continue monitoring the surroundings while others feed. Simple moments of exploration gradually build confidence and understanding. The cooling hours ahead may eventually create more favorable conditions. Water not only sustains life, but also mirrors the changing moods of the environment. The herd's movements are once again guided by the search for fresh grazing.
As the day advances, predator and prey continue their separate journeys across the immense African wilderness.
As the afternoon slowly advances, the savannah begins another gentle transformation. The herd resumes its daily movements, guided by the search for fresh grazing areas. Periods of movement and feeding alternate throughout the day. The changing temperature encourages the predator to become more active. The savannah is constantly moving, shaped by wind, light, and countless living organisms. The herd once again balances feeding with vigilance.
The world of the youngster remains filled with curiosity and discovery. Observation remains one of the predator's most valuable skills. The afternoon landscape continues to change in subtle and beautiful ways. Food availability remains one of the primary influences on herd movement. Awareness continues developing through observation and experience. As the day cools, the lioness resumes her quiet exploration of the plains. Throughout the savannah, movement and activity are gradually increasing once again.
For now, the herd experiences another calm period within its demanding environment.
As afternoon slowly gives way to evening, another chapter in the endless story of survival quietly unfolds. Late afternoon brings cooler temperatures and a renewed sense of activity across the African plains. The lioness becomes increasingly alert as conditions gradually improve for movement.
The herd takes advantage of the cooler hours to continue feeding.
With renewed energy, the youngster explores while remaining close to familiar protection. The changing light transforms even ordinary details into extraordinary scenes. Elevated ground provides a wider perspective and valuable information. Brief moments of alertness continue to interrupt the rhythm of feeding. The youngster quickly responds to the behavior of the surrounding adults. The source of concern is soon identified as another passing herd. Once the uncertainty passes, the herd returns to its routine. Every animal movement contributes to the predator's understanding of the landscape. Close bonds provide reassurance and guidance in an unpredictable world. The approach of evening is becoming increasingly evident across the savannah. As daylight fades, the lioness quietly prepares for another active period. Across the African plains, the lowering sun signals the beginning of another important transition in the endless cycle of life. Sunset approaches, and the African savannah enters one of its most beautiful and dynamic periods. As the evening cools, the lioness grows more alert, carefully studying every movement across the plains. The herd remains focused on feeding during these productive and comfortable hours. The changing sky introduces another evening, filled with unfamiliar sights and sounds. Many species are already preparing for the transition from day to night. The predator's attention sharpens as evening gradually approaches. Brief moments of awareness continue to shape the rhythm of herd behavior.
As daylight fades, the youngster instinctively remains close to experienced adults. The evening light transforms the savannah into one of Earth's most spectacular landscapes.
Cover and shadow are gradually returning to the landscape.
Evening naturally encourages the herd to become more closely grouped.
The youngster's education continues through countless small experiences.
From this position, the lioness quietly monitors the changing conditions of the evening. The final moments of daylight are now unfolding across the savannah. As the sun descends beyond the horizon, another night begins to shape the timeless relationship between predator and prey. Sunset has ended, and the African savannah enters the brief but important transition known as dusk. For predators, these fading moments of daylight often provide the most favorable conditions for movement. The herd instinctively becomes more organized as visibility steadily decreases.
The youngster now depends heavily upon the awareness and experience of surrounding adults.
The daytime residents of the savannah are preparing for the arrival of night. The fading light now offers increasing opportunities for concealment.
As darkness approaches, even subtle sounds immediately command attention. Learning often occurs through observation and imitation rather than direct experience.
Daylight gradually surrenders to the first signs of the coming night. Hearing becomes increasingly important as the world grows darker. Movement continues, but caution now shapes every decision. The changing light creates new challenges for inexperienced animals. With each passing moment, darkness becomes an increasingly valuable ally. Dusk transforms the familiar landscape into a world of shapes, sounds, and uncertainty. As day gives way to night, the timeless relationship between predator and prey enters its most uncertain and dramatic chapter. Night has fully arrived, revealing a world governed by darkness, sound, and instinct. The cooling temperatures allow the lioness to move comfortably and efficiently once again. The herd adopts a highly vigilant formation as darkness settles across the plains. For the youngster, the nighttime world remains mysterious and demanding.
Many specialized hunters become active only after the sun has disappeared.
At night, hearing often provides more information than sight. Despite the darkness, the need to feed continues.
The youngster alternates constantly between feeding and vigilance.
The changing sky repeatedly alters visibility across the nighttime landscape. Reduced light and deeper shadows gradually improve conditions for concealment. A slight disturbance instantly changes the mood of the herd.
The youngster instinctively responds to the caution displayed by experienced adults.
The predator responds by becoming perfectly still. The moment of uncertainty passes, and the herd cautiously returns to its routine.
Across the African night, Every sound and every movement contributes to the endless struggle between caution and opportunity. Deep night now envelops the savannah, where visibility is limited and every decision carries greater consequence. The lioness resumes her careful movement, using the darkness as both cover and opportunity. The herd balances the constant need for food with an equally important need for vigilance. Night continues to challenge the youngster's senses and understanding. The constantly changing light creates moments of uncertainty for every animal. Predators often take advantage of even temporary changes in visibility. A shared moment of caution spreads quickly through the herd. The youngster immediately mirrors the behavior of nearby adults. Stillness remains one of the predator's most effective forms of concealment. The absence of immediate danger allows feeding behavior to continue. Information gathered through hearing often determines the next decision. The youngster attempts to feed, but never fully abandons awareness. Above the grasslands, the night sky continues its timeless display.
Patience and caution continue guiding every movement through the darkness.
Under the light of the moon, predator and prey remain linked by uncertainty, awareness, and the enduring instinct to survive. The deepest hours of the night often become the most uncertain for both predator and prey. The lioness continues her measured approach, conserving energy while remaining concealed. A growing sense of unease moves through the herd. The youngster senses the tension, even if it cannot yet understand its source. Darkness deepens, briefly altering the balance of visibility across the landscape.
Temporary shadows provide opportunities that predators instinctively recognize. One animal's concern quickly influences the behavior of the entire herd. The youngster seeks reassurance through closeness and familiarity.
Stillness allows the predator to gather information without revealing her position.
The herd responds by increasing collective vigilance.
Once again, the landscape changes as moonlight returns.
The predator waits patiently, allowing the environment to determine her next move. The need to feed competes constantly with the need to remain aware. Even the smallest adjustments are made with extraordinary care.
Throughout the African night, survival often depends upon patience, awareness, and the ability to respond to uncertainty. The night continues to unfold beneath the moon, where every sound and movement carries significance.
The predator patiently studies the behavior of the herd before making another decision.
The herd responds to its unease by changing position and maintaining a tight formation.
The youngster follows instinctively, trusting the experience of the adults around it.
Changing moonlight continually reshapes visibility across the landscape. The predator reassesses the situation and cautiously advances once again.
Another wave of caution moves rapidly through the herd.
Even without understanding the cause, the youngster senses the importance of stillness. The predator once again chooses concealment over movement. For several moments, every member of the herd focuses entirely on listening. The sounds of the night continue, often impossible to identify with certainty.
The tension slowly fades, and the herd cautiously continues its journey.
The constant balance between feeding and vigilance continues throughout the night. The changing position of the herd gradually reduces the predator's opportunity. The longest hours of the night are beginning to pass, and subtle changes signal the approach of dawn. The lioness carefully weighs the cost of continued effort against the likelihood of success.
The herd's movement and organization continue reducing vulnerability. The youngster remains alert despite the fatigue of a long night.
The night sky continues to change, creating shifting patterns of light and shadow. Experience teaches predators when patience becomes the wiser strategy. Even as the night draws to a close, vigilance never completely disappears. The balance between feeding, movement, and awareness continues until the very last hours of darkness. The predator begins conserving energy for opportunities that may arise with a new day. Far away, the first signs of morning are beginning to emerge.
The herd has safely endured another demanding night.
For the youngster, another important lesson in survival has quietly come to an end. The changing sky signals the beginning of another cycle and another opportunity.
Night gradually loosens its hold on the savannah.
Another night ends without conflict, yet the timeless relationship between predator and prey remains as powerful as ever. Dawn returns once again to the African savannah, gently replacing darkness with light.
After a long night of patience and observation, the lioness quietly welcomes the morning.
The herd remains close, recovering from another night of caution and vigilance.
For the youngster, the arrival of daylight brings renewed energy and curiosity.
Birds are among the first to announce the beginning of a new day. The changing conditions encourage movement and renewed awareness.
With daylight returning, feeding once again becomes a priority.
The youngster resumes feeding, gaining energy for another demanding day. The savannah undergoes another spectacular transformation as the sun approaches the horizon. Predators continue gathering information, even during the peaceful hours of morning. The herd slowly relaxes as visibility improves, and another day begins. Confidence continues to grow with every sunrise and every new experience. Another sunrise marks the beginning of a fresh chapter in the endless story of survival. The lioness remains both observer and participant in the complex rhythms of the savannah. A new day begins on the African savannah, where predator and prey continue their timeless journey beneath the rising sun. The new day begins with cool air, golden light, and renewed opportunities across the savannah. After a long and patient night, the lioness moves without urgency. The herd welcomes another safe morning and returns once again to feeding. Morning often brings renewed energy to the youngest members of the herd. The early hours reveal delicate details that disappear as temperatures rise. The predator continues gathering information from the landscape around her. Even during peaceful moments, awareness remains a constant companion. Curiosity remains one of the most powerful forces shaping early learning. The savannah slowly shifts from cool dawn into the promise of a warmer day. Having remained active throughout the night, the lioness now seeks comfort and rest. Improved visibility allows the herd to feed in a more relaxed formation. Far away, the first signs of morning are beginning to emerge. Energy conservation remains one of the most important strategies in the life of a predator. For now, the balance between predator and prey remains calm and unchanged. Another day unfolds across the African savannah, where survival is shaped by patience, awareness, and the endless rhythms of nature. The savannah has fully awakened, and another ordinary yet extraordinary day is underway. After the efforts of the night, rest becomes both necessary and valuable. For the herd, the morning hours provide ideal conditions for feeding. Every corner of the savannah offers opportunities for learning and discovery. Even the smallest details reveal the remarkable complexity of this ecosystem. Although resting, the lioness never becomes completely disconnected from her surroundings. Awareness and feeding continue in a constant and familiar rhythm. The youngster's growing confidence reflects the security provided by the herd. The landscape is constantly changing, even when its rhythms seem calm and predictable. Rest allows predators to recover and prepare for future opportunities. The open plains provide both abundant food and clear visibility. Each calm moment contributes to growth, learning, and resilience. Movement continues throughout the ecosystem, linking every living creature to the rhythms of the day. For now, the hunter rests while the landscape around her remains peaceful. The timeless story of predator and prey continues not only through moments of drama, but also through long periods of calm and coexistence. As another morning unfolds, the savannah reveals its extraordinary beauty and balance. The predator rests, recovering from a night shaped by patience and observation. The herd enjoys the safety and visibility provided by daylight. Every day adds new experiences to the youngster's understanding of the wild. Life on the savannah depends upon countless connections, many of them small and easily overlooked. Even moments of rest are accompanied by quiet awareness. Awareness remains an inseparable part of daily life. The youngster's playful behavior reflects growing confidence and health. The savannah is never truly still, even during its quietest moments. Predators and prey alike are shaped by cycles of activity and recovery. Peaceful moments are every bit as important as dramatic encounters. Each sunrise brings another opportunity to learn and another chance to survive. The African savanna is one of Earth's greatest ecosystems, rich with diversity and interconnected lives. Predator and prey remain bound together in a relationship that has endured for countless generations. From high above, individual struggles fade into a greater story, the timeless rhythm of life itself. The African savanna is a place of immense beauty, shaped by forces that have existed for millions of years. The lioness is both hunter and guardian of balance within this ecosystem. The herd survives through cooperation, awareness, and the strength found in unity. For the youngest members of the herd, each day becomes another chapter of learning. Even the smallest details contribute to the remarkable complexity of life here. Predators are not simply symbols of danger. They are essential participants in the rhythms of nature. Vigilance and peace exist together in an ever-changing balance. The future of the herd rests in the experiences gained by its youngest generation. Water, grass, sunlight, and life remain deeply interconnected. Periods of calm are as essential to survival as moments of action. Within this apparent simplicity exists an intricate and delicate web of relationships. For one young zebra, another sunrise has brought knowledge, safety, and the promise of tomorrow. Although their lives are shaped by different needs, predator and prey remain inseparable parts of the same story. The story of survival continues far beyond this single morning. Across this extraordinary ecosystem, life endures through adaptation, resilience, and the timeless rhythms of nature. The African savanna remains one of the last great wild landscapes on our planet. Within this wilderness, every predator plays an important role in maintaining balance. Every herd contributes to the renewal and continuity of life across the plains. For the young, each day offers another opportunity to grow and learn. From the smallest flower to the largest predator, every life here is interconnected. The story of the lioness is not simply one of hunting, but of patience, adaptation, and endurance. The story of the herd is one of cooperation, awareness, and resilience. The future of the savanna rests within moments of learning and care such as these. The rhythms of nature continue, whether observed or unseen. For now, the hunter rests, while the great landscape around her remains alive with possibility. The herd feeds peacefully, unaware of the countless stories that tomorrow may bring. For one young zebra, another day has become another step in a lifelong journey. Together, predator and prey form part of a much greater and more enduring story. Here, survival is not defined by victory or defeat, but by the endless cycles of adaptation, challenge, and renewal. And so, beneath the endless skies of Africa, The timeless story of lion and zebra continues.
Subscribe for more wildlife adventures.